The biggest mistake that Persona 3 Reload made was leaving out the key content from FES and P3P. The total omission of the FEMC where even to this day fans are still questioning how when Tartarus Kotone got ignored, then the answer being this price expansion DLC that left a sour taste in the community. This is why Persona 4 Revival is in a crucial position to avoid making the same mistake. All of the content from Persona 4 Golden should be included in P4R because we are not ready for another Mari erasure discussion, although Kotone does need a friend. Before Reload's launch, I remember it being marketed as the most complete version of Persona 3. Then, more than a year after its release, people can now 100% say that wasn't entirely true. We were promised that Reload will be the best version of P3, but instead of having one right answer on which of these versions to play, we're again stuck with varying options. Do you want to play an expansive adventure after the story? Then FES is for you. Do you want modern graphics with a stylish UI of Persona 5? Then Reload is the way to go. Do you want to pretend like a cheery girl even though you're dead inside? Then Portable is your friend. Also, if you really want a better S-Link. With Reload still being bombarded by criticisms due to the absence of Kotone, as well as paywalling a very important post-game expansion, Persona 3 Reload will always be saddled as Persona's potential man. But why didn't P3R include all of the contents from these other versions? One of the biggest reasons is because the framework of P3R is able to stand alone without the pillars that Portable and FES introduced. Makoto as a solo male protagonist has been effective in 3 other versions of P3, so the inclusion of Kotone was seen as a feature rather than a necessity. Of course, she should have been there, but that's just my opinion. While the original conclusion of Persona 3 is so impactful that it did not warrant Atlus and P Studio to immediately disturb its peaceful ending. Its narrative from April to March is not affected by the missing contents. And truth be told, FES and Portable content weren't entirely excluded as Reload did implement a lot of their changes, such as turning Junpei and Akihiko's S-Link content as special hangouts. Then of course selling the answer as an expansion DLC that was met with criticisms. Deservingly so. Reload was built with a vanilla P3 in mind first and foremost, then adding the things that made Persona 5 a global phenomenon. From the charming UI that no other devs can imitate, compelling music where you just have to sing the lyrics in every fight, and romanceable teachers. But unlike P3R, Persona 4 Revival cannot commit the same mistake. Well sure, if we look at the OG P4, it can seemingly stand alone as proven during its PS2 run. However, the content from Persona 4 Golden cannot be treated similarly to FES and P3P. The biggest reason for this is because Golden's content is deeply connected to the whole narrative, gameplay structure, and themes of Persona 4. What Golden did to Persona 4 is not just enhance the game, nor was it meant as a simple port to other systems, but it fixed, improved, and made Persona 4 better than ever from all of the things that it introduced. While Portable and FES can be seen as a feature for Persona 3, Golden is a necessity for Persona 4, and without it, Persona 4 Revival will be seen as this incomplete mess. So what exactly did Golden add to P4 that Revival cannot simply exclude in the remake? Gameplay-wise, Golden is so deep within P4's mechanic that removing it will make the game feel stale. First of all, P4G changed the flow of battle. Shadows had their elemental attributes changed to better complement the party members, even the bosses. I mean, just ask the veterans of OG P4 about Shadow Yukiko and watch them spiral into PTSDs. They also altered where the shadows spawn in an area so that traversing a dungeon won't be as tedious as the OG. There's also a revision in the shuffle time, as well as rebalancing party members so that they'll be more useful like Kanji and not too overpowered like Naoto auto, as well as adding new levels of difficulties. They also have Rise joining in the all-out attack, which is by far my most favorite version. Golden also introduced what I call the early version of Persona 5 Royal's Showtime mechanic, with their tag team attacks, coupled with unique follow-up moves with cavalry. There's also rebalancing in certain skills, like reducing the SP cost, and this is when they introduced that bops and bebops can now be extended. Not to mention that there's a lot of personas that was introduced in P4G. Outside of the battle mechanics, Persona 4 Golden made the game easy to replay because of its skip function. Just imagine the pain if this is gone and you'll have to witness Teddy hitting the girls again and again. Persona 4 Golden gave us the answer with Box Popoli that lets us see what other players did in a given time, which of course we see this returning in Persona 5 and now with Reloads. Outside of this, Persona 4 Golden introduced a lot of content in their menu screen. Yep, there's even a special menu viewable at 12 AM, imitating the Midnight Channel. The TV listings allowed players to replay cutscenes, play music, look at concept arts, where it shows us the bully Rise we could have gotten. Who am I kidding? Rise is perfect as she is. And if you like the lore and power system of Persona, as well as its relation to the Jungian psychology, then Edagawa's Classroom will be your mainstay here. But for me, I always find myself replaying the Midnight Trivia Miracle Quiz. Moving on, while Golden is rooted in P4's gameplay, how about its narrative and thematic setting? Isn't it just fine to delete Mary, the added social links, and these events? No. Persona 4 Revival cannot exclude Mary's story arc, as it is now an important part of the game's lore, as well as the mystery surrounding the Midnight Channel. Mary is deeply connected and perfectly woven not only with Yu Narukami, but the whole investigation team. Mary's social link also perfectly complements the theme of Persona 4, both in searching for the truth, as well as creating these joyful bonds. I won't be speaking too much here to avoid spoilers, especially for people who are reserving themselves to experience P4 in the remake. But I just want to say that Mary is one of the best written characters in P4 that is often misunderstood with all the tsundere memes. In fact, I would even double down as to say that Revival might even expand more with Mary, and we might even see some drastic changes in the dungeon that P4G added. With that said, the other S-Link introduced in P4G cannot be excluded as well, since Adachi is far too important and a fan-favorite character. Adachi's social link should never be excluded in Persona 4 Revival. Just like Mary, his story arc is significant to the whole theme of Persona 4. Adachi's quiet life in Inaba mirrors what Yu Narukami is going through, showing a well-thought-out parallel between them. This goofy dork can do nothing wrong, and his jester S-Link proves how much of a prankster he is just to relieve his boredom. You have to admit that Atlus did well in choosing this arcana for him, and if Golden somehow removes Adachi's S-Link, the internet will be flooded with justice for Adachi, and I'm not really ready yet to engage in another agenda posting. Meanwhile, the new social activities that P4G introduced also played a good part in the theme of Persona 4, highlighting the cheery atmosphere and the power of friendship, such as the scooters, which we can see in the trailer by the way, allowed us players to really connect and familiarize with the rural charm of Inaba. The scooters also introduced new hangouts that P4R can take advantage of, similar to Reload's dorm hangouts, giving players an extra bonding time with the investigation team to relax at the hot springs, explore the town, as well as rewarding the characters with new skills. The garden activity, on the other hand, was meant to enrich the bond inside the Dojima household. I mean, just look at how happy a grumpy cub can be at the sight of great vegetables. Then, bug catching and fishing actually allowed the players to connect more with the town and its NPCs. Again, all of these social activities, even though they might look normal, it effectively complements the theme of Persona 4, showing us players that it is important to be involved within our community, even with simple hobbies. All of this shows that Golden is deeply connected to Persona 4's story, gameplay, and overall theme. Persona 4 Revival will be mediocre without the content from Golden. So if Atlus and P Studio want to avoid their biggest mistake in Reload, then they need to make sure that all of the content from Persona 4 Golden is included when Persona 4 Revival comes out, especially if they want to avoid the wrath of Adachi enjoyers. Now, it's really sad we didn't see any new trailer about Persona 4 Revival in this year's Tokyo Game Show, so does this mean that it's not releasing anytime soon? Well, actually, it's right around the corner, and there's a big reason why Atlus chose to make P4R first, rather than going straight ahead to Persona 6. If you're curious why, then check this video out. Join Otaku Define for more Persona content. This is Math, and stay awesome, my dudes.